Now, Weissman, in a nutshell, welcome back with North Rory Homeward. And the fact that you said that you're presently undergoing sexual reassignment therapy, are you still biologically, for all outward appearances, female, or has there been reconstructive surgery also?
Not yet, unfortunately. My body, I mean, obviously in my vocal cords and such things, and on my face, things have definitely changed. People who are listening on the radio cannot really see, but I have facial hair now, which is great. And a lot of it because apparently my family has heavy facial hair. But yes, the rest of my body, I have to work with it every day. I have to wear a chest binder, and I'm lucky now because I found one that's not so uncomfortable. When a lot of transgender guys, when they first start out, they don't have the money because they're too young, or they don't know the options available to them, and they start with things like ace bandages and such things, and it's unsafe, uncomfortable, it hinders breathing, and it can cut your skin, and it can do all sorts of horrible things. And I went through that. I did all of that. I had ace bandages for a long time, and it's like the worst thing. Oh, okay, no, not the worst thing. The worst thing you can do is, I've seen actually some guys use duct tape to try and smush it down.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's terrible. That's the worst thing you can do. And I've seen some of the damage that it does to your body when you do that. Like, even after surgery, they can't fix all that because it just damages you. It can permanently mess up your skin and your flesh.
Oh, so sure.
That's a bad thing. Any transgender guys listening, do not use duct tape or ace bandages. There are places on the internet that you can order these wonderful chest binders. Some of them are actually made for transgender people. Some of them are made for like cosplay, like costumes and stuff. And some of them are made for men with gynecomastia, which is a problem that biological men have, where they grow breasts for hormone problems and stuff like that. A lot of guys with testicular cancer will develop that. So there are these great things you can get, and they're actually really comfortable, and I wear mine all the time, and I don't even, it doesn't matter to me anymore. I can feel it, obviously, but it's not bothering me, which is nice.
How many surgeries are required to complete the course of treatment?
Generally for guys, it'll be 3. You get the hysterectomy, and then you'll get your chest surgery, your breast removed, and then you'll have usually it's either, occasionally both, either a metoidoplasty or a phalloplasty to get your lower region fixed. For women, as far as I know, it's just the 2. You get occasionally only 1. I guess it depends on how, because as hormones, taking hormones for transgender women, it actually grows breast tissue, but for some women it's not enough and they need more, so they get implants. But generally it's just a lower issue for the women. Or actually some women also do vocal cord surgery because their voice is too low. And I can't imagine doing that, but that's just because I'm a singer, and I feel my heart goes out to all the transgender women who sing and have to get vocal cord surgery, because God, that would just scare me so much.
How many surgeries are... Oh, so you said there was 3 for men, 2 for women.
Yes.
How long does this whole course of therapy take, including the chemotherapy and the surgery?
Well, I mean, it depends. I've seen guys... I've known people like on the internet who have done it in a year. You generally want to space out your surgeries for, have at least 3 or 4 months between them. I was hoping to get my next surgery by the end of this year, but that's not going to happen. Money problems.
So that's not going to be covered by your health insurance.
That one I have to, and I was given a quote by a local surgeon who it was twice the amount that I see most guys paying for it. So I said no. Now I have to find another surgeon, and that's been a difficult road. But yeah, it's several thousands of dollars, and it's not easy. But
is the portion is the the clitoris incorporated into the head of the penis?
In a metoidoplasty, it is. There's a metoidoplasty basically uses what you have and creates for you a phallus that is usually quite small. It would be the kind that most cisgender, by the way, that's another good term. Cisgender means your gender matches your biologically assigned sex. So most cisgender men would be very embarrassed to have such a penis, but most transgender men are just like, woohoo, I have one, so it doesn't matter that it's small. A phalloplasty takes a skin graft from your usually your side, occasionally your arm if you have broad arms, but usually it's like your hip or some such, and they shape it into a phallus and sew it on, basically. I mean, it's more complicated than that, obviously, but it's, because they have to thread the urethra and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, that gives you a more, common size, I suppose, but I don't know how I feel about that stuff yet. I feel like it's far enough off in my future that I can wait on deciding what I want to do there.
Okay, all right. Now, as to your significant other, that relationship was clearly begun as a homosexual relationship, correct?
Yeah, we were both identifying male at the time. So we were both sort of in the beginning. Actually, we didn't know that they were genderqueer and just thought they were transgender like me. So they were thinking of doing the same thing as I'm doing and getting the hormones and the surgeries and stuff. And so we met under that pretense and started our relationship as two transgender guys. But as time went on, my gender stayed the same, and theirs like kind of bounced all over the place, and and whatever. That's fine. So it's interesting. I think most interesting about my relationship is like the way that people see us and how that changes based on how he's dressed. Just, we can go out as a gay couple or we can go out as a straight couple, and it's really interesting.
Well, if your significant other maintains female genitalia, and if your gender reassignment therapy is totally successful, and you become fully converted to male, both physically and psychologically, as to the extent that might be possible, and you become, for all intents and purposes, a man, do you think that it will impact your relationship?
I hope not. I mean, we started out our relationship knowing that this was going to happen, and it doesn't. I mean, my partner is so awesome and accepting of anybody, anywhere, and much like me, we have the frame of mind of whatever you got to do for you, that's it's fine. And on the personal interaction level, like we just want to be with each other, and we don't really care what happens to the body of the other person, I think, as far as all that stuff. I mean, as far as I know, if they're listening and going, hey, that's not what I think, then I'm sorry.
Is that person capable of having children?
No, but that's not having anything to do with the gender. It's just because of other health concerns.
Okay. So do you think that it's possible that you two might adopt kids at some point in time?
I would like to. For a long time, I thought absolutely not. We started out in our relationship planning on it. And then after a while, both of us, the depression just got so bad that we were just like, oh, no way, can't deal with, we don't want to put a kid through having a depressed parent. That's terrible. And now I can see it in the future, but it's kind of a far off thought, sort of a dream, because I have to take care of my partner enough now because they're sick.
Oh,
and,
sorry to hear that.
They have cancer, so it's just like everything. It's like taking care of a child in itself sometimes. Like I have to be available a lot more than I would. So
I'm so sorry.
So having an actual child is really not in the cards at this point.
Okay. On the other hand, if your significant other, by some I hope, fortunate turn of circumstance, heals from whatever illness it is, and has a operation or goes through the therapy herself, do you think that would impact your relationship? Now we got two males.
I mean, I think it can't really not impact. I mean, it's a huge change. Stuff is gonna happen. It's gonna change. But I think it would be positive. It would be, if they felt they had to do that, then I know that going through with it would make them a happier person, and in turn our relationship be better. And I honestly, I don't care. I'm totally cool with whatever body is there. I'm open.
Okay. Can you give us a song?
Okay. All right. This next one. I wanted to intro this one. This is called Tell My Father. It's from a musical called The Civil War, and it was in its original its entirety in the original piece. It was written from the point of view of a Southern soldier, and then later the lyrics were changed to be from a Northern point of view. And I like to perform it in its original lyrics, not because I, condone what they were doing down there, but just because I like to remember that in war, no matter what you're fighting for, these were kids and they died, and it was sad. So,
okay, here we go.
Tell my father that his son didn't run or surrender, that I bore his name with pride as I tried to remember. You are judged by what you do while passing through. As I rest 'neath fields of green, let him lean on your shoulder. Tell him how I spent my youth, so the truth could grow older. Tell my father when you can, I died a man. Tell him we will meet again, where the angels learn to fly. Tell him we will meet as men, for with honor did I die. Tell him how I fought the blue, proud and true, through the fire. Tell my father so he'll know I loved him so. Tell him how I wore the gray, just the way that he taught me. Tell my father not to cry, then say goodbye.
Very nice. Nicely done.
That song makes me sad. Sometimes I can't help but cry even when I'm just singing it.
That I can understand. Now, I have a very unauthoritative source that I want to quote right now.
Okay.
The other day I was watching television, and there's this show called Taxi, where they put a camera and recording devices into a New York taxi cab, and they film the people that are in the back seat
Interesting.
and their exchanges with the driver. And so you get some really crazy exchanges going on. But on this one exchange, it was these two people where the woman was formerly a man, and the guy was always the guy. So they started out with a homosexual relationship. She became a woman. She looked like a woman. She said that all of her, parts appeared to be female parts, and that they had sex that was normal man to woman sex for all outward appearances.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy of that relationship said that the incident of gender reassignment therapy surgery, including the hormonal aspects, will never convert you into a man or convert you from a man into a woman, but you'll forever remain your original sex with new accoutrements. And so he always views their relationship as homosexual. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that, depending on how she feels about things, that might be fine for their particular relationship. But in general, for the vast majority of trans people, I think that'd be pretty offensive. I think that that most trans people would agree with me on thinking that it's not hard, really, when you look at someone who's undergoing this change, or even who's deciding not to get any surgeries at all, or whatever, and just says I'm a boy or I'm a girl. I don't understand why it's so hard for people not to just take that at face value. Like, this is what they are, and that's okay. And it's not even that hard to... gender, the binary of gender is such a social construct. The language that we have been given centers around, male and female, he and she, and there's no good word for someone in the middle or anything like that. But that's all. It's language. It's a construct. It's not real. And if you're told by someone, I'm a boy, then to say the male pronoun and their chosen name and stuff when talking to them, I don't understand why it's so hard for people.
But here in this case, this person, it looked like a couple. It looked like a man, and a woman. She definitely looked like a woman. She was wearing, sexy clothing and on. He looked like a regular guy, but in his mind, she will always be a guy.
I don't understand. I can't judge whatever, to each his or her own, but I wouldn't be able to understand why a trans person would want to be with somebody like that, who couldn't see them in the way that they see themselves. Because I feel like in a relationship, if there's going to be a good dynamic in the relationship, a back and forth, there has to be an understanding between people, and you have to accept each other for what you are. If you're always trying to change the other person, or hoping that the other person would be different, or wishing, then it's never going to be a good enough relationship. If you, obviously there's like minor quirks in relationships you'd always wish that your partner would change or whatever, putting the toilet seat down or whatever. It's different when it's the essence of the person that you don't accept. And if that's okay with this woman, then whatever, good for them, but I don't understand why it would be.
Okay. All right. Now, what is your ultimate goal in the gender reassignment process?
Well, I want to go through all of the surgeries. I as I said before, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do as far as the lower surgery because there are a couple options, but I'm going to do one of them at some point. And I just want everything to be done, and I want to and I'm going to the gym now. I've been overweight my whole life, so that's been a hurdle. But I've lost 85 pounds now. Go me! And
good for you.
And I'm
Getting
continuing
healthier?
on that. When I started hormones, I was told by the therapist that I was seeing that if you do not start to work out as you start taking them, then like if you work out, you will build muscle and you will build it easily. If you do not work out, it will all turn into fat.
Oh my!
So I started working out because I had enough fat. I don't need any more. So I see my future. You know, I've never been one to enjoy huge muscle men, you know, the like Arnold Schwarzenegger bulging muscles with veins all over the place type.
Sure.
That's not attractive to me. But I look to the future and I can see myself as being, you know, mildly muscular and just you know, the kind of guy who can take his shirt off at the beach. You know, that's like my goal, I guess. I want that.
Okay. What does this whole thing cost in terms of dollars?
I'm not sure about the lower surgeries. I haven't looked into the cost of those quite yet. I know that the mastectomy, the average price I see people paying is usually around $5,000. I know of one who spent about $8,000 on the whole process, but that included travel and expenses and stuff to go to a surgeon who was out of state. A lot of people have to do that because there aren't anybody in their area who can give it to them for a good enough price. Like I was saying before, this surgeon that I spoke to about it, I went to him for a consultation. I had to pay $100 for the consultation, which I now regret because he gave me a quote of $10,000 for the surgery. And I was like, oh my, that's not happening.
For some reason, that just doesn't sound like too much.
It's just...
For that kind of surgery, it seems like it's got to be in a highly sensitive area, and it's got to be highly delicate, calling on special skills that may not be needed in regular...
for a regular mastectomy...
Plastic surgery.
For somebody, for like a woman with breast cancer who wants to have her breast removed to, you know, for health purposes, they don't have to do everything that they would have to do for a reconstructive mastectomy, because in a reconstructive you have to, you know, take the nipple, and there has to be nipple placement and such things, and you have to shape it correctly so that it looks like a proper male chest. Generally, with regular mastectomies, they don't worry about that stuff. So
yeah, sure. It's
definitely specialized, and it's hard to find a surgeon, which is, I guess, why the guy that I talked to thinks he can charge me so much. But I'll probably end up. I know some people. I know a guy who went to Miami for one. I know a guy who went to Ohio for one. So it was
less expensive there.
Yeah, and it was less expensive. So I just need to do some more research on that.
Okay, well, we're running out of time now. All right. I want to thank you on behalf of myself and my listeners for taking the time to appear with us on In a Nutshell today. This has been a fascinating opportunity to learn something about a subject that is, in all honesty, largely foreign to myself and perhaps to some of the listeners as well. Good luck to you with your continued transitioning, and good luck with your singing if you plan to go further with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure. It's my pleasure. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.